Oh, 5'9". That's a little short. You're 5'9".
People like that is so fucked up. I mean, yeah, we can be 5'9", we can be 5'2" and whatnot. I'm 5'10". I'm I'm 5'9", 5'10", depending on my stress levels. But yeah, I I feel as though when it comes to height, it shouldn't really matter for real. I we gonna be doing a react video to Ty's Corner. It's gonna be talking about black hate among our community. And yeah, let's get on with the video.
Here's why I don't date black women. Listen to me when I'm talking to you lot.
I'm listening.
Because you lot don't like to listen.
I'm listening.
I don't date black women because you don't like to get put in your place.
Which place?
Your place.
Which
and when you
place?
get put in your place, you think you got taught like a man.
That's why they were
You're not
cheating
a
on
man.
you then.
You're not men.
That's why they were
Watch
cheating
this.
on you.
Stay in your place.
Cheated.
Don't date black women.
To be your emotional pack mules, your surrogate memmies on the rebound, only after your preference drags you. Don't date black women.
Not why do I prefer to date white women, it's why do I not prefer to date black women. Now,
Nasty, derogatory, bitter, extremely ignorant.
How do you feel about black women?
I like women, all women, far as Shay equally. I like
He
them
didn't
equally.
ask you about all women. She's specifically asking you a question, sir.
It all boils down to who that individual black woman we're talking about in the community. You know, a lot of black men have had to step away. You know, if we want peace of mind, if we wanted different.
Okay, let me ask you a different question. Way different question. You ready?
Yeah,
All right. How you feel about Latina women?
very affectionate, catering. You know, sweetheart, beautiful culture. You know, flavorful food. You know, I didn't feel emasculated. You know, I just, oh gosh, my old Salvadorian one was a sweetheart. Just she had 3 boys, but I mean, I believe that, you know, Latina woman, yes, sexiest women around.
Do you have a legit preference, or are you really just prejudiced? Ever since dating has been a hot topic on social media, there's been a lot of discussion about gender roles and traditional values, who brings what to the table, who is the table, what a provider actually is, and so on and so forth. Some of it being healthy discussion, and some of it being laced with misogyny or misandry, with some people going so far as to generalize entire groups of women or do things like create TikToks to dunk on men who aren't 6 foot tall.
Oh, he's 5.
What I have to say about that is when it comes to me, in my liking Asian and Indian women, is that it might be because I have a fetish. It might be. It really might be. But how I feel is that I am I got a I'm multiracial. So it's not because I don't like black women. It's because I want to expand my DNA, basically. So if any one of my children or grandchildren feel as though they can be racist or amongst uh different races or different ethnicities, if they get their hands on a DNA a DNA test, they will be able to see that they can't really be racist to these ethnicities because he has these ethnicities in him. So for me, it's just expanding my DNA for my kids and my kids' kids, etc., etc. It might be a fetish that I do like Asian women and Indian women because of me growing up on Bruce Lee movies and anime movies and whatnot, and reading books on Buddhists and how and India and China have the same religion in their cultures uh and how they work with how the community work and and they just have an extensive history basically. And I have gone engrossed into that community because of me being so interested in it. So that's probably why y- people can say that I I have a fetish with it, but to me, uh yeah, to me it's just how I feel. But yeah.
9, sorry. Oh, 5'9", that's a little short. um, you're 5'9".
People like that is so fucked up. I mean, yeah, we can be 5'9", we can be 5'2" and whatnot. I'm 5'10". I'm I'm 5'9", 5'10", depending on my stress levels. But yeah, I I feel as though when it comes to height, it shouldn't really matter for real. I mean, with my with my woman, she is 5, directly 5 inches, well, 5 feet. And yeah, she's Asian. She's Filipina. And I have 10 inches on her, but I still like her. So yeah, let's get on with the video.
Should I say that?
Why don't women like short men, right? Okay, one side of it could be beauty standards. Who made those? Other men. Okay? Other men are the ones who have said you have to be tall to be considered manly. That's because of y'all. That's one. Two, a lot of times
Yeah, it's because of y'all, but that's not the reason that you have these afflictions for real. Because yeah, we made it, but that doesn't mean that you're you're you have to blame it or be brainwashed into thinking that. You don't have to blame us for your mindset basically. If you if you didn't if you don't have if you feel as though that you can blame it on us, then you just don't have a mindset, brain to think for yourself. Because I don't believe that, and yeah, do say I do say we brought it on our own. Just like how women brought it on their own to do certain things and to believe certain things, bruh, within their community. But that doesn't mean that you have to believe in those beliefs. But yeah.
Short men are horrible.
Oh, totally.
Why? Because they have what's called the Napoleon complex.
Look it up if you don't know it.
And yeah, some short men do have Napoleon complexes. Yeah, it's it's a it's a psychological defect, but that doesn't mean he's gonna have it all the time. Even besides, women can have Napoleon, uh, the Napoleon complex. That's an obvious. So you blaming it on that, you probably short too, and you probably have it. It's detrimental.
A short man syndrome. That's literally a psychological thing that they have.
Y'all gonna hate me for this, but maybe y'all won't. But I feel like every time a man has a bad opinion or they just a horrible person or like emotional, just like attention seeking or any of that stuff, it's usually because they're short.
The gender
No, not really. Some, just like with women, they never had gotten attention before. So they really want that attention to be on them because it's either their person they want to be a actor, they want to, or never gotten attention with their parents and whatnot. So for them to say it's because of that, it's superficial. It's very superficial.
war has gotten so weird so fast, it's honestly hard to keep up with. All you see is outrageous expectations, colorist ideals, internalized or blatant racism, and very bad advice for choosing a significant other. Another thing that people like to lean on in a lot of these discussions are the stereotypes they've given certain groups of people. Specifically from men, I've seen things like white women are more agreeable, Asian and Latin American women are more submissive, and of course, black women are ghetto and loud.
I've been with black women, Asian women, Latina women. Um, I've been with white women. Thing about it is, each of them has that type of. All of them have that type of personality. It just depends on what woman you you're with, basically. I've been with women, white women, and Asian women, and Latino and Indian women that were loud and obnoxious. It just depends on who you're dating. Whenever you're with a certain type of woman, it's not because of that woman com- that woman's community that she's like that. Yeah, it could be, but it's just she is around, basically. Because I know black women that were that their whole community was around white women, but yet she's still loud and obnoxious. I seen black women that were with their own community, but still subtle and demure, so to say. Just like with Asians and Latinos, I mean Latinas and Indians. It just depends on who you're dating. But yeah, But he is correct about how the stereotypes are when it comes to men. It's just these men are either ignorant or never been with women or just trying to maintain and act on YouTube.
And all of this nonsense starts to sound less and less like people looking for real, healthy relationships and more like people creating a character in 2K. We're getting into La La Land, and preferences start looking like some other shit. But this is where it kinda gets funny too, because even though everybody's now an expert in tradition, femininity, and masculinity, nobody seems to be honest about what they truly desire. Nobody wants to admit that really, a lot of the time, they just want a specific look. Or they have a fetish. If you got a fetish, just say you got a fetish, bro. It's okay. Just say you want waifu. As men, we go through great lengths to hide how we truly feel about some shit. Niggas do all this posturing about being manly online and being traditional this, traditional that, women this, women that. You can't.
And I see that all the time on the internet. I don't get why it maybe uh, maybe trying to project something that you are not and you want to be, but these people on the internet, for real, it's crazy how people are on the internet. Sometimes you might see me act a certain way. Maybe I'm projecting. You would never know because I like to keep my life separate from what I do in my YouTube shit. But yeah, I you just never know. Yeah.
Date these types of women, blah, 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 all day long, which has some nuggets of truth, just to hide the fact that they got a fetish. Look, everybody has their thing. No matter what the comment section of a video would tell you, all right? We're adults. But the issue with this type of fetishization is it's reducing that woman down to a stereotype and treating her as if she's a trophy, which isn't bad on the surface until you get to the root of why it's being done. Then the dynamic just seems weird, at least from the outside looking in. And yes, women do this shit all day long too. White women who say they only date black men, I'm looking at you. Like and subscribe. But this also dehumanizes the person and just turns them into this object or animalistic thing. We have a lot of phrases that do this too. I'm sure we're all familiar with the ones that are pretty much accepted and seen as phrases of endearment, like black men having a big dick or big booty Latinas, and some that are super fucked up, like Asian men having a small and black women having bad attitudes, or Latin American women stabbing you if you piss them off and selling your organs. And I somewhat have personal experience with.
Same with me. I had somewhat of a personal uh experience with stuff like this. But so yeah, some of it is true, some of it is not. Just like I said, it just depends on the woman you're with, basically. That woman that you say that she would stab you because she's Latina, uh, she might have been in a really horrible relationship with her family, and that's just how she is. She got to go to therapy and shit. But that's not all of the community. Just like with these stereotypes with white women and black women and Indian women and Asian women, not all of them are like that, bruh.
This, not the selling the organs part, but my wife is Afro-Latina. And I remember her telling me a manager that she had, some creepy old guy about to retire, told her that he knew she wasn't like other black girls that worked there. And he knew she had to be mixed with something else because she just couldn't have been a regular black woman. Effectively saying her looks and the way she carries herself is different, even though she's still black. But automatically, he essentially just said in so many words, you're not black. You're the stereotypical Latina that I have in my mind. So therefore, you must be better. Regular black woman bad, Latina good. There was even another situation back in high school that I remember vividly where someone I was cool with at the time, black kid, had a white girlfriend. I think they're married now actually. He said that you needed to get a white woman because it was a sign of respect or hitting the come up. I remember being so confused by that shit, and I still don't understand it. Well, I understand it, but I don't understand it. To have that in your mind as a 17-year-old is wild to me, but things like that are taught to young black kids or people of color every day through social media, music, and sometimes by the parents themselves, right? Even throughout the world. For example, there's a saying in the Dominican Republic that's used called mejorar la raza, which translates to improve the race, which implies marry someone white or light skinned with good hair.
To improve the race, to make it wider. That is what mejorar la raza means, and that is what a lot of Latin people are consistently told by their family and friends. And there's this concept of hair, that I have good hair and that people that have curlier hair have bad hair. I am Dominican and I am considered one of the lighter ones in my family. My mother is the whitest one among her siblings because my grandfather was white and he married someone darker skinned.
It's crazy how these people think that. Uh, to me, people who think this are just a detriment to their own community. They really are. They just don't like themselves. And they want to say this and make other people believe this because they feel as though it's the truth, and it's really not. And yeah, it's all over the country. Even in Africa, they do all that stuff, and they use these skin bleachers and whatnot to make themselves lighter. And it's to do that and to make your body go through that, and know when you do that, you gonna shorten your lifespan just to make yourself look socially better. It's craziness, bro. But in some in some places you have to do that just to obtain certain things in life that are beneficial, just to become just to survive. And I get that. But when it comes to these first world countries, why do that? Why? Why? It's stupid. It's very stupid because you could get these certain things without doing stuff like this.
And my father is the darker skinned one because my grandfather, who was white, married someone who was darker skinned. People are encouraged to marry white, to marry someone that is lighter skinned than you and someone who has good hair so that your kids can come up to be white with good hair. The concept of whiteness is not limited to the United States. Latin people are telling their kids marry white, to the point that if we have a black boyfriend, that represents a problem and our family rejects that person.
I was told also, for being black, you're very
babe.
pretty, so don't mess it up.
You okay? What happened? Hold up, man. I'm back. I'm back. My bad for that. My girl called me. So, yeah. I had to speak with her for a moment. But yeah, let's get on with the shit.
By being with a black person, look at your features, don't mess that up. And I was told so many things out of ignorance. It literally took like high school for me to actually bother to take time to educate myself and understand that it was just that generational ignorance that was passed down from one generation to the other, that it just came out of a place of ignorance. That's what you were taught. and you're passing it down to me. You're telling me that, then you're basically telling me that my black is not beautiful.
The same thing happens in Asia, where Koreans, the Japanese, and Chinese are encouraged to marry white people for better economic opportunity.
For most Asian American women, marriage to white men is considered highly advantageous, and our families really encourage it. It's not like the struggle interracial love that our parents oppose because they want us to have Asian husbands. Absolutely not, no. It might have been that way like decades ago, and some communities discourage it more than others. I think Koreans really prioritize marrying other Koreans. That's at least what my ex-boyfriend told me. But at least in China and for Chinese Americans, which is what I am, getting a white husband is a flex. It is something that you show off to your entire family. You talk about how your kids are going to have blonde hair and blue eyes, even though they're not. Your whole family is going to be so excited that you got an American husband. Yes, even if you are Asian American, they will call only white people American. That is a thing. They always view it as a step up in life. Even if your white man is broke, even if he treats you badly in front of everybody, they'll just say, why aren't you working hard enough for his acceptance? If you do more.
I think this is only in East Asian countries and West Asian. A little bit in Southeast, but not really, depending on where you're at, basically, and how your family or your community was brought up. But with my woman, she's considered Southeast Asian, and because she's Filipina, so so she really don't have that in her. When it came to my the Indian woman I was with, she didn't really have that in her because her father was Jamaican. So I just think it's dependent on the community, basically, that you're around and the family you're around and how they act, basically. Because, the community and the family is your base when it comes to your beliefs and what your opinions are and whatnot. But yeah.
Then he will really accept you and he won't cheat on you with a younger Asian woman. Absolutely not. And I know this view is so prevalent because a lot of divorced older Chinese aunties will swear off Asian men and only go for white men, specifically Trump supporters. There's also this idea in our community that Asian men are a lot more misogynistic than white men, which is absolute bullshit. Misogyny just looks different. And if you are raised culturally Chinese, you will not be as attuned to the way that misogyny shows up in Western society and how it will show up in your marriage to a white man.
It gets deep and fucked up. But this thought process can often spiral into men allowing themselves to be mistreated or taken advantage of just for them to say they have a Latina. For example, the attitude is seen as sexy instead of ghetto because she's cussing you out in a romance language. And on the white side of things, I notice there's black men who are willing to put up with racism from the family of a partner just to have a white woman on their arm. And you start to wonder what's really going on internally with that person. And I say that as someone who lives in a state with a lot of racism. Like, do you really like this girl, or are you on some Kendrick shit trying to get payback for the ancestors? And does she really like you, or is she trying to piss her dad off? And multiple things can be true at the same time. Maybe it's a revenge tour for you and an act of rebellion for her. Or maybe y'all do like each other. But sometimes these types of relationships are built on a shitty foundation of prejudice, racist, or ignorant stereotypes. There's also a trend of racially ambiguous women using black men as accessories for aesthetic purposes and clout to put themselves in rooms they wouldn't normally be regulars in. That could be its own video. But us as black men put ourselves in position to be taken advantage of more than we're willing to admit for companionship. And this could stem from so many different things, from not being accepted by the black community as a black man. Maybe you grew up in a majority white area and you just don't connect to black culture. Maybe the homies used to pick on you, or maybe there's something else mentally going on that's subconsciously causing you to make these decisions and have a disdain for women that look like you. And we often see this play out in communities that involve traveling abroad. like the passport bros, where they're traveling overseas to find a woman that's more traditional and submissive. And I'm talking about the ones actually traveling to find love, not the ones flying overseas to trick and be abusive. I have an entire video on those sick idiots you can watch if you want, but the ones who are telling you the grass is greener on the other side and that these women don't expect as much as American women or Western women, and that money doesn't matter and they don't expect the man to do everything while they do nothing. When in reality, in places like Latin America and Asia, they expect the man to be a provider. The provider of everything, in fact, especially since you're bringing American dollars. They expect you to pay for everything and even support their family financially, or have them move in with you guys. Not to mention Asian women are stereotyped to be a little bit bossy and control everything, including your finances, including the fact that in countries like Japan, there's a big issue with men being in sexless marriages after a child is born. And then there's women in China who are becoming more educated and putting relationships on the back burner, which is the same thing I see men complain about when it comes to women in the West. But this is seen as acceptable because the woman is from Latin America or Asia. For some reason, it's okay to be a provider in that scenario. It seems like a lot of mental gymnastics to justify the fact that you love the idea.
Yeah, it can be. Like I said before, it depends on the community and where you where your girl is from or what community your girl likes to be in and their family. With mine, she works because she got children. So yeah, that's probably another one reason why she she is different. Um Second is is she is a little bit smarter than and more open-minded to certain things. So yeah.
Of having an Asian or wife or girlfriend from Latin America. And I'm not just pulling this out of thin air. You can find tons of Reddit posts by men frustrated because they've essentially turned themselves into a bank account for a woman from Southeast Asia or Colombia. It's pretty sad, to be honest, and a lot of them don't have much dating experience in their own country. They're walking licks to these women, but they want companionship that bad, and that woman wants a better life even more. Even when they have to act like the stereotypical Asian, Latina, or African for years to get it. And sometimes when they do get it, you'll see a post about how the couple got divorced and she took everything and it was all a ploy, a ruse, and how they've been hoodwinked. This isn't all international relationships, of course. I grew up on and outside of a military base, so I've seen it work, but I've also seen it crash and fucking burn. Something else
Yup.
pretty odd is how much grace is given to women of other races or ethnicities. For example, I've seen YouTube videos with Latin American women in them, and every comment is talking about how natural she looks, or how her hair is real, and she has no makeup, and she doesn't wear fake nails. I just want to point out this Dominican woman has on a wig, a face
Yup.
full of makeup, eyelashes, and tattoos down her left arm. You could drop her in any city in
Yeah, she does. You could tell from the skin part of the hair. It's a little bit lighter than her skin tone. So actually a little bit darker than her skin tone. So in the separation from the hair to the head, it doesn't connect. So that's why. Uh with my girl, I know for a fact she doesn't use makeup. She used lipstick, which um I do like. I'm just not really into a woman that wears makeup or has wigs on and whatnot. If I do get a black woman in the future, if I'm not with the woman that I am with right now, then the wig part I'm gonna have to get used to. I'm not gonna really like it too much, but I'm more of a well-rounded person for real. So I may have to get used to it, but I'm gonna get used to it if I feel as though I love her that much. But yeah.
America and she'd fit right in, no issues. You wouldn't even know she's Dominican if she didn't talk, all right? Y'all gotta stop acting like just because they're confined to an island, they're not doing this shit, all right?
Mm-hmm.
They do it too. That's
Yep.
all. Back to the video.
If you want to go deeper into the art of editing, to build real skill and cut consistently impressive work,
her personality is that of an angel, which then turns into all women from Latin America are like this, which then turns into this is why women from the West are losing, which then slides into putting down black women or making anti-black comments. All of which was assessed and done for a 30-second clip because you see a light-skinned woman with a fat ass speaking.
And also, a lot of the women that I used to talk to when I was in the working at the casino and all my other jobs and when I was in school didn't wear wigs. They wear a bit of makeup, but not that much wigs. Uh and yeah, uh I feel as though they look better when it comes to me. To me. They look better when it comes down the to the wigs and the without the wigs and makeup. But yeah.
Spanish. Even though there's women that have all of that fake shit on and
Mhm.
makeup and have their hair and bodies done all
Yeah.
over Colombia and the DR. But all of that just seems to get overlooked. It's a fetish. And on the flip side of that, we have the divestors. The black women who date white men because they think black men are the scum of the earth, when in reality, they just have poor decision-making skills and have no idea why they keep attracting bum-ass niggas. And some find out the hard way that white men are still men at the end of the day. And some men just ain't shit no matter what skin complexion they are. Some white men got baby mama drama too. Some white men are unfaithful. Some white men are terrible fathers, husbands, friends, and some just see women as something to be conquered. It's all universal across the board. But you have influencers romanticizing interracial relationships as if they found their white savior and keys to the kingdom for no other purpose than to push content and make money off of you while parading their white or black partner around on the internet like a sidekick to a main character. It's their relationship, they can do whatever they want, but it doesn't make it any less cringe. And you can tell it's playing to a specific audience that views the world a specific way. Now, you're entitled to like what you like, but when the reason for whatever preference you have is based on an ignorant stereotype or past trauma or what's popular, that's where the problem comes in. Because not everybody in this world is the same. And you might say, well, it's the culture difference. But people are crazy, self-centered, and full of shit everywhere, even in the most conservative of countries, men and women. There's not a silver bullet to true companionship, not even money. But for some reason, we're quick to label people and throw them all in a bucket and put down groups of people and then romanticize others to justify any prejudiced beliefs we may have. Saying all or most black
When it comes to this, a lot of the humans like to save face, obviously, because they feel as though if they bring out this part of them, it's a weakness. So, and they don't like to show their weaknesses when it comes to the community that they are around. They like to show that they're strong, independent, all this other shit. But yet, they're just blood and skin and organs just like the rest of us, basically.
women are ghetto and loud is like when idiots say all black people are ghetto and criminals. Saying all Asian women are submissive is like saying all Asian women can't drive. You see where I'm going? It's just dumb. And it needs to
very
stop.
dumb.
If you want to get your fetish, go get your fetish. Just don't shit on other groups of people when you do it. You sound hurt. And specifically for the men, women pick up on that shit fast, bro. And if you're telling her something to the effect of, I only date certain types of women because Black, Latin American, or Asian women are X, Y, and Z, while you're Black, Latino, Asian, or a mixture of any, that's gonna make you look stupid. And if she's sitting there agreeing with you, she just might be racist as shit. And is that really what you want to bring around your family or create a family with? Have you seen how fucked up some of these kids can be if they grow up with a racist parent that married or had a child with someone from that race that they don't like? It's not some shit you want to deal with, bro. All right? Not for some ass. We can do better. But at the end of the day, niggas will still get on the internet and take out their frustration in a random comment section, shitting on Black women because one that they really liked in high school told him that he was ashy and was weird for running like Naruto down the hallway. It is what it is. Tighten up. Thanks for watching.
And thank you for watching. Hopefully y'all liked the video. Yeah, Death is out.